More than 10% of people every year experience panic attacks, and roughly a quarter of those go on to get diagnosed with a panic disorder. Yet, as common as the experience is, the nature of panic attacks are still largely misunderstood by the general populace. Clients often ask me to teach them some effective tools and techniques to help them get through those moments when a panic attack strikes. However, the most effective way of dealing with a panic attack is not to have one in the first place. So, how do we do that then? Hi, I'm Tim Box. I'm a mind coach, and for more than a decade now, I've been helping people overcome their anxiety issues and live a panic-free life. In this video, I'm going to be correcting 5 major misapprehensions about panic attacks that, when understood, will help you to simply stop having them. Before we go any further, if at any point you find any of the information in this video helpful, then please hit that like button, as it helps more people find this information and get the help they need. The main reason why our first panic attack can then lead to us developing a propensity for further panic attacks is that the first one was perceived by our subconscious as life-threatening. Most people, the first time they experience a full-blown panic attack, will end up in the emergency room suspecting a heart attack or stroke or some other major medical issue. This creates what we might refer to as a subconscious confusion. Our mind marks this experience as life-threatening, and then whenever we experience any type of feeling that resembles the initial traces of how we felt during that experience, our mind interprets it as a repeat of that life-threatening incident. It then does the only appropriate thing when we feel our life is threatened: it hits the panic button. So effectively, it's our fear of panic that causes us to panic. It's important to understand that even though panic attacks feel like we're going to die, nobody ever does. The worst a panic attack can be is extremely uncomfortable for a short period, and then it passes. Understanding that any panic response can't kill us allows our subconscious to downgrade the perceived threat. And then when we feel any onset of any telltale physical symptoms, instead of going into full-blown panic, we can simply let them pass. When it comes to panic, the term attack is horribly misleading. It suggests panic arises from outside of us and aggressively seeks to cause us harm. However, panic isn't something that just happens. It's something our mind does. Yes, it's often a reaction to something external, but it's an action nonetheless. And the motivation of our mind is not to do us harm, but to protect us. The intentions are entirely benevolent, even when they don't feel that way. A panic attack is simply your mind mistakenly perceiving threat when there is none. Now, a panic response in the face of perceived danger is entirely appropriate. It's the understanding of the situation that's mistaken. To suggest panic is attacking us deprives us of our agency and has us relinquishing any possibility of gaining control of our own responses. Once we accept that a panic attack is simply a part of our mind making a mistake, we can then take whatever steps required to correct that mistake. So many times I hear so-called experts tell us that a panic attack can strike at any time for no reason. This is entirely false. Your mind always has a reason for doing whatever it's doing, and the triggering of a panic response is no different. However, there are 2 reasons why we sometimes perceive panic to be happening randomly. The first is that the situation we're in doesn't demand panic. Because the response is inappropriate, we chalk it up to our panic disorder rather than seeking to understand why our mind mistakenly feels threatened by the current situation. The second reason is that we're not always consciously aware of why we're panicking. Our emotions are triggered from our subconscious, and the thinking behind those responses isn't always obvious. In most instances, we experience panic attacks because something about our physicality, be it our heartbeat, our breathing, our temperature, or any number of other perfectly natural things our body does from day to day, is now being perceived as the possible onset of panic. And then, of course, a part of us hits the panic button in response to that. Now, we've already worked out why this isn't a valid reason to panic, but it's a reason nonetheless. Understanding why our mind hits the panic button can be the first step to preventing it from doing so. As I said at the start of the video, the most common request I get regarding panic attacks is for emotional or behavioural tools to manage the attacks when they happen and recover from them faster. The danger here is that if we recruit countermeasures to deal with something, it immediately suggests that thing is a cause for concern. The very idea of needing coping strategies implies there's something on its way that's difficult to cope with. This creates the heightened sense of threat that fuels any anxiety and panic we might be feeling. The truth is, most of us will at some point in our life experience some degree of panic. This is because none of us are immune to becoming concerned about our own safety and well-being. Like all of our emotional responses, these instances will pass naturally and much faster when we realise the response itself cannot harm us and doesn't mean we're ill. In the same way that when we ride a roller coaster or watch a scary movie, we don't need to employ breathing techniques or listen to a guided meditation to recover, any panic we feel, no matter what the reason or circumstances, will naturally pass without us having to actually do anything. Whilst it can be fairly straightforward to accept that panic won't kill us, it doesn't necessarily stop the experience of having a panic attack feeling just horrible. Many of the clients I see are comfortable with the idea that they're not going to die, but the instances of panic are so unpleasant that they continue to fear them as if they were. The big fear is that there's something inherently wrong with us that simply won't go away. The idea that perhaps we have a genetic predisposition or a chemical imbalance that means this is just what we will have to deal with for the rest of our life. The good news is that anything about our biological makeup that might predispose us to a slightly more active panic response doesn't operate in isolation. It requires a panic-worthy situation to trigger it. In short, this means that no, you're not ill and you're not forever locked into this response. In most cases, once we realise the panic response is no threat to our well-being, we simply stop experiencing it. But the ability to panic isn't a malfunction. It's what every healthy human being with even a modest interest in self-preservation will at times naturally do. The ability to enter a panic mode is part of our survival instinct. It's not a sign of illness. It's a sign that we're alive and we care to remain so. These are both, when you think about it, good things. I really hope this video has been of help. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button before you go, and why not subscribe to the channel for more regular anxiety advice. If you have a specific anxiety related question you want answered, then you can join me live on this channel every Friday evening at 6 p.m. London time when I do a live anxiety Q&A. You can also now become a member of this channel and get access to hours of extra content and exclusive member-only live sessions. Just click the join button on the main page. But that's it for now. I'm Tim Box. Always remember to be kind to your mind, and I'll see you next time.